Brothers. I said, which one, John Belushi? Now, they look like real glasses. They look just like shades. From a distance, you couldn't tell. Even things look the same. You know, you don't look like a different color or anything. But why do you wear 3D glasses when you go to the movies? What's the purpose? Yeah. It makes it pop out. It makes it feel like something that's two-dimensional, distant, that you're an audience of, is jumping out of the screen to participate in your existence. And the cool thing is, when you watch some of the movies that become DVDs later, you can tell when they try some of these cheap tricks, like something goes right for the screen. I tell my wife all the time, I bet that would have been a really cool effect in 3D in a movie theater. Now you put on these shades, and it's like, whoa, wow, it's real. I can touch these people, or they're coming out of the screen to touch me. That's awesome. Now hold on to that, because we're going to talk about healing today, and how healing is real and true in this life. Not just something that we read about from 2,000 years ago, or we look forward to in the future when Jesus returns. That it's happening today. Hold on to that. Something that's a two-dimensional story coming alive. Now, today in our gospel reading, crucifixion. It's the site of our salvation. The healing of the world happens when God is ultimately vulnerable, exposes every part of God for our ridicule. God is vulnerable and opens God's self up in Jerusalem. On the way, in between Samaria and Galilee, in an in-between place, he meets some in-between people. When we're in between. Because it's in those times, if you're like me, that I seek him out. Have mercy on me, Lord. Save me. And Jesus meets 10 lepers, and he cures them. Jesus tells them, go, show yourselves to the religious people. And they're cured. They went, and how many of them came back? One. Now, one person returns, a foreigner, an outsider. And what does he say to Jesus? What does he do first? He sees that the spots are gone, and he returns. He comes back and goes. Your faith has healed you. When does healing happen for this last person? When he returns to Jesus. Healing happens always and after the action of God. God acts first. God acts always. Our healing isn't something that we manufacture or we have our will and we will it to happen, because when we do that, we start to feel empty. Because we know we manufacture it, and then what happens? We get hardened and I don't want to let anybody know, I don't believe this stuff, or I don't feel it anymore. God acts, and then faith comes as a result. We put on the lenses of faith that come as a result of seeing God act, and we see God act here, and we start to see it everywhere. Oh. And what happens when we see God? Oh. My dad had an expression, when someone never smiled all the time. Nickname was Stone Face. And whenever they'd crack a smile, my pop would always say, hey, it looks like something cracked old Stone Face. Something cracks old Stoneheart. Just a little bit. And then the light of the gospel comes in again and again and again. And we are awakened to a new experience of God's salvation.
A young man who has battled brain cancer is on the field right now for the Huskies.
One more snap for Taylor Martinez, too, who will hand it off to Jack.
So Taylor gets the shotgun set, gives it to Jack. Here he goes. He's got blockers out in front.
There he goes.
He's running, and field. Listen to this crowd as Jack Hoffman, the young man that, as I mentioned, has really been adopted by this football team, just scored a touchdown.
Oh, wow. What a moment.
And both benches empty.
That.
Gathering around Christ, who refuses to let death and dying in the end have the last word for us, and it doesn't. You may have shed a tear, and I bet there's one person here that's like, doggone it, Pastor Brad, I come to church to be lifted up. I don't want to come here to cry today. I cried. You know, the experience that you probably had down deep in the sense of in your gut, the tears that you shed, a little bit of that hardness is breaking away. And the light of the gospel is coming into your heart. And you're being healed. May you leave this place wearing those